The Dnieper River, Dnieper, is one of the major rivers of Europe, rising near Smolensk, Russia and flowing through Russia, Belarus and Ukraine to the Black Sea. It is the longest river of Ukraine and Belarus and the fourth longest river in Europe. The total length ranges between 2,145 kilometers and 2,201 kilometers with a drainage basin of 504,000 square kilometers. The river is noted for its dams and hydroelectric stations. The Dnieper is an important navigable waterway for the economy of Ukraine and is connected via the Dnieper-Bug Canal to other waterways in Europe. In antiquity, the river was known to the Greeks as the Borysthenes and was part of the Amber Road. Arhimar, a capital of the Goths, was located on the Dnieper, according to the Hervara saga. Etymology: the name Dnieper is derived from Sarmatian Danwapara, the river on the far side. According to V. Abov, the name Dnieper derives from Scythian Danwapr, deep river, while the name Dniester is combination of Scythian Danwu and Thracian Isti, the old name of Dniester. In the three countries through which it flows it has essentially the same name, albeit pronounced differently: Russian, Belarusian, Ukrainian. The river is mentioned by the ancient Greek historian Herodotus in the 5th century BC as Borysthenes, as well as by Strabo. This name is Scythian and translates as wide land, referring most likely to the Ukrainian steppe. The late Greek and Roman authors called it Delta Alpha Nu Alpha Pyro Iota Sigma Danapres and Dnieper respectively. This form is derived from Sarmatian Danwapara, the river on the far side. Its Old East Slavic name used at the time of Kiev in Rus was Slavuta or Slavutic. The Huns called it Var, and Bulgars, Burichai. The name in Crimean Tatar, Ozu. Geography: its basin covers 504,000 square kilometers, of which 289,000 square kilometers are within Ukraine, 118,360 square kilometers are within Belarus. The source of the Dnieper is the turf swamps of the Valdai Hills in central Russia, at an elevation of 220 meters. For 115 kilometers of its length, it serves as the border between Belarus and Ukraine. Its estuary, or liman, used to be defended by the strong fortress of Ochakiv, on the Dnieper River to the south of Komarin urban-type settlement, Bragin district, Gomel region. The southern extreme point of Belarus is situated. Tributaries of the Dnieper: the Dnieper has many tributaries, with 89 being rivers of 100 plus km. The main ones, in orographic sequence, are. Many small direct tributaries also exist, such as, in the Kiev area, the Sirits in the north of the city, the historically significant Libud passing west of the center, and the Borshahiuka to the south. The water resources of the Dnieper basin compose around 80% out of all Ukraine. Rapids: Dnieper rapids were part of trade route from the Varangians to the Greeks, first mentioned in the primary chronicle. The route was probably established in the late 8th and early 9th centuries and gained significant importance from the 10th until the 1st third of the 11th century. On the Dnieper, the Varangians had to portage their ships round 7 rapids, where they had to be on guard for Pechenik nomads. Along this middle flow of the Dnieper, there were 9 major rapids, obstructing almost the whole width of the river, about 30 to 40 smaller rapids, obstructing only part of the river, and about 60 islands and islets. After Dnieper hydroelectric station was built in 1932, they were inundated by Dnieper Reservoir Channel. There are a number of channels: Channel Dnieper, Donbass, Channel Dnieper, Krivoy Rog, Kakhovsky Channel, Krasnoznamenskaya irrigation system in the southwest of the Kherson region. North Crimean Canal will largely solve the water problem of the peninsula, especially in the arid northern and eastern Crimea. Ingulets irrigation system. Fauna: the river is part of the quagga mussels native range. The mussel has been accidentally introduced around the world, where it has become an invasive species. Reservoirs and hydroelectric power. From the mouth of Pripyat River to Kakoruka Hydroelectric Station is a cascade of dams and hydroelectric stations. The most noted was the Dnieper Hydroelectric Station, or Zaporizhzhia, built in 1927 to 1932 with an output of 558 megawatts. It was destroyed during the Second World War, and rebuilt in 1948 with an output of 750 megawatts. The others are Kakoruka, Kremenchuk, Kiev, Dniprodzerzhinsk, Kanov. Those dams that used to generate hydroelectric power of 10% of Ukraine's total electricity form water reservoirs. The reservoirs are Kiev, Kanov, Kremenchuk, Dniprodzerzhinsk, Dnipro, and Kakoruka. Regions and cities. Regions: the Dnieper River in different regions. The Dnieper River in Kherson, Ukraine. The Dnieper River in Dorogobuzh, Russian Empire, before 1917. The Dnieper River in Kremenchuk, Ukraine. Cities are major cities, over 100,000 in population, are in bold script. Cities and towns located on the Dnieper are listed in order from the river's source to its mouth. Arhimar, a capital of the Goths, was located on the Dnieper, according to the Hervara saga. Navigation. Almost 2,000 kilometers of the river is navigational. The Dnieper is important for the transport and economy of Ukraine. Its reservoirs have large ship locks, allowing vessels of up to 270 by 18 meters to access as far as the port of Kiev and thus create an important transport corridor. The river is used by passenger vessels as well. Inland cruises on the rivers Danube and Dnieper have been a growing market in recent decades. Upstream from Kiev, the Dnieper receives the water of the Pripyat River. This navigable river connects to the Dnieper-Bug Canal, the link with the Bug River. Historically, a connection with the Western European waterways was possible, but a weir without a ship lock near the town of Brest has interrupted this international waterway. Poor political relations between Western Europe and Belarus mean there is little likelihood of reopening this waterway in the near future. Navigation is interrupted each year by freezing in winter, and severe winter storms. The Dnieper in the Arts. The Dnieper in the Arts. Catherine II living Canio in 1787 by Johann Gottlieb Plesch. Ice in the Dnieper by Ivan Ivazovsky, 1872. Moonlit Night on the Dnieper by Arkhip-Kuinji, 1882. Dnieper by Arkhip-Kuinji, 1881. Sapphire Dnieper by Jan Stanislavsky, 1904. Evening on the Dnieper River by Vladimir Ovchinnikov, 1956. Dnieper River by Vladimir Ovchinnikov, 1956. Visual arts. The river Dnieper has been a subject for artists, great and minor, over the centuries. Major artists with works based on the Dnieper are Arkhip-Kuinji and Ivan Ivazovsky. Popular culture. The river is one of the symbols of the Ukrainian nation. There are several names that connect the name of the river with Ukraine. Over Dnieper Ukraine, right bank Ukraine, left bank Ukraine, and others. Some of the cities on its banks, Dnipropetrovsk, Dnieporuna, Kamyanka, Dniprovska, are named after the river. The Zaporozhian Cossacks lived on the lower Dnieper, and the name refers to their location, beyond the cataracts. The folk metal band Taurusas have a song called "The Dnieper Rapids" on their 2007 album The Varangian Way. Leon Bollier featured a track called Dnipro in his debut 2-CD album Pictures. The track is said to be inspired by his visit to Kiev in May 2008. The river is described in the works of Taras Shevchenko as Dnipro and mentioned in the national anthem of Ukraine. The river is referred to as Dnipro in the song Hey, Dnipro, Dnipro. Briefly mentioned in the science fiction adventure novel The Crisis Pendant by Charlie Patterson. Roberto Bolaño's novel 2666 features the Dnieper as a significant feature of the village of Hans Reiter. Ecology. The Dnieper River is close to the Pridneprovsky chemical plant radioactive dumps, and susceptible to leakages of radioactive waste. The river is also close to the Chernobyl nuclear power station that is located next to the mouth of the Pripyat River.